So this is the finished product. These are the painted parts for my 1979 Sachs Prima G3 moped. I couldn't help showing them off at the beginning of the video because I'm pretty proud of how they turned out. This is my first time painting anything on a vehicle, and even though it's not a Concord bodywork job, I think it looks pretty dang spiffy. Let's see how I made that happen. Today we're going to prep and paint the motor case. There are 5 pieces to this case that are going to be painted. The 2 case parts, top and bottom, the jug, the clutch cover, and the intake. The magneto cover is currently chromed, so we're going to cover that in a different video. The first thing is to wash all parts. I used some WD-40 and some engine degreaser to get into the grime and scraped out a ton of dirt and muck with a screwdriver, and then I washed them in soapy water. The jug gets a little different treatment. It was painted black at some point, and I tried a number of different paint strippers to try and pull off that paint, but I didn't have any luck. Each one took bits and pieces off, and I tried a couple of different brands and types, but it didn't really work. The majority of the paint was taken off with a razor blade and a Dremel with a wire brush on it. I went through a lot of brushes. I tried really hard to get the engine plate off of the engine with no troubles. Unfortunately, I only got one pin out whole. The other one broke off, and digging a steel pin out of an aluminum case is just not going to end well. We'll have to revisit this issue again later. So here are the mostly prepped pieces, the jug, the top case, and the bottom case. At this point, the top case has been gone over with the Dremel brush, but the bottom has not. You can see the color difference. There is some sort of very thin finish on here that wouldn't come off with stripper either. So I guess that means on to more Dremel work. The intake and the clutch cover get the same treatment. As I said earlier, the mag cover will get some more work in the future, but I did take a little time to get the majority of the big dents out of it. Alright, there they are, all parts prepped for paint. That took about 16 hours and resulted in about 7 hours worth of footage, and it all edited down to only 7 minutes. I'm using Rust-Oleum high heat engine paint for this. I've got their high heat primer as well as their satin black color. Now I'm going to want to have a place to spray these that catches the overspray, so I used some scrap in my shop to build a makeshift spray booth with a fan and a furnace filter at the back. If I end up spraying anything else like the frame or the tank, I might build a better quote-unquote booth, but this is fine for the first test. I'm using the clutch cover as my test piece. It gets a wash of acetone, and then after drying completely, it is ready for primer. I spray the primer on, and then turn off the fan and close the front cover to stop dust from making its way onto the part. That process is repeated with the paint. This cover came out okay, but I think I can do better. I'm going to try putting on another light coat and see what happens. The intake gets the same process. The bottom case is next, but at the same time I'm stripping the clutch cover. It didn't come out well. I got alligator skin, probably because I didn't let it dry enough after I wet sanded it. I didn't put much of the taping process into this video, though if you watch Adam Savage, you know how much fun taping is. Here's just a bit of the bottom case taping job. The case needed some primer touch-up, which I then dried with a heat gun, and then it was on to paint. One of the good things about high heat paint is that you can dry it really fast with a heat gun and it's almost impossible to screw up. The top case comes next. The jug was the most intimidating part, so I left it for last. Those deep fins are hard to get into and they're prone to runs, so I took this slowly. Even so, I did need to go back and do a touch-up after the paint. So there you go, a semi-decent paint job with rattle cans and a box fan. I should name this video, "You Won't Believe How This Paint Job Ended," but I'm just not that hungry yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and leave a comment below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe and check us out on Instagram, Analog Vector.